So Forest go through to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. We are one game away from Wembley. So why the hell do I feel so flat? Welcome to my post-match thoughts. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to some, I guess, slept on it thoughts on Forest 1, Ipswich 1. Forest go through on penalties and march on to the FA Cup. I was going to say final. Not quite there. Not quite there. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. And if you want some transfer news, as Forest are linked with a major name from Inter Milan, go check it out if you want to see it first. It's exclusive on our Patreon. Scan this QR code or click on the link that's in the comments, man. It's going to be an expensive signing if it happens. So let's talk about a couple of things from yesterday. Look, I can't lie to you guys. I just didn't enjoy the game yesterday. I just thought it was a bit flat. Now, this isn't going to be a moan or a rant or anything like that. Just a couple of points that I want to address. I don't know why Nuno switched these wingers round. It's baffled me. It's absolutely baffled me. And then he was actually asked about it post-match, and he was asked, is it your choice or their choice? And he said it was their choice. Now, I don't actually believe him, and I really hope I'm right not to believe him, because if it isn't his choice and it's their choice, then that is worrying. Because, you know, when you think about it, maybe it was their choice and the communication wasn't on. Like, Elanga came across to Hudson-Odoi and said, yo, let's switch up. And Hudson-Odoi is like, I can't be bothered. I'm going to stay on this side. And Elanga was like, all right, I'm going to stay on this side as well. And they both ended up on the right-hand side. I don't know. This one's a baffling one for me, but Nuno needs to sort it out. I don't care if it's his choice, their choice, or whatever. I'll tell you what, make it my choice. Hudson-Odoi on the left, Elanga on the right, end of discussion. Let's move past this experimental phase with it. We're costing ourselves chances and shots with Hudson-Odoi being on the right-hand side. Even though he's a good crosser of the ball, he needs to be on the left so he can shoot, because we're lacking in finishers. And for me, he's the second best finisher right now in the club. So let's put that one to bed. But what I gotta say was, what was Nuno's reaction after, man? It was a little out of character in a nice way. He just like, I thought he's gonna strip off, man. The jacket came off, went and gave Einar a piggyback ride and something. Now, it's something he's always talked about, is his love for the domestic cups in England. I think as a kid, he used to watch the FA Cup back in Portugal, and that endeared him into English football. So it's nice to see that passion. But where was that passion on the pitch from the players, man? It was so flat. It was so flat. I saw more passion after the match than during the match. And this is my worry. Like, for the first time in a while, we had the possession in a game. I think we're like 54%. I mean, it wasn't a crazy amount of possession, but it was still us up on Ipswich. And we still can't find ways to break teams down. And I'm worried looking ahead after the Man City game, because I think Man City will actually play into this trap and these tactics. And that, you know, they'll end up creating space for us. We then got Ipswich away. We've then got another relegation team in Manchester United. And then, I can't remember his next, Villa away or something like that. So these are all going to be games where, outside the Man City game, teams may say, here you go, have the ball. Let's see what you can do. Let's have you come at us a little bit and then create those patterns in behind your team. And that is a slight worry. I just feel like we've lost that zip, that edge, that quick transitional play like we saw against Liverpool is obviously the good example of the transition goal. At Brighton, transition goals were great when we beat them 7-0. Even at Manchester United away, great transition goals and great mistakes as well from Onana. I just feel that zip's gone. Now, has that gone, or has it been figured out by opposition managers? That for me is the real question. Like, a lot of you are going to sit here and say, oh, you're moaning again. I'm not moaning. I'm airing concerns. A lot of you are going to be like, we're third in the league. Stop being so entitled. I'm going to be like, we are third in the league, but the season doesn't end in March. Look at where Villa are now. Look at where Newcastle are now, etc. Chelsea were ahead of us a few weeks ago. They've dropped down. So, you know, I'm just playing, if you're like, devil's advocate for what's coming up. And I do think we need to go back to being this quick transition team. I'm not sitting here saying let's play tiki-taka Pep style football. I'm saying go back to what was working and get that zip back into the game. That was good to watch. That was creating chances. That was catching the opposition off guard. Now, another thing I want to talk about is Sangare versus Yates. I don't know why it's a Sangare versus Yates debate, but it clearly seems to be. If you like Yates, you hate Sangare, and if you like Sangare, you hate Yates. It seems to be this thing going on. And I don't understand. Maybe you guys fall into that bracket. Maybe some of you like Yates, some of you like Sangare, some of you hate Yates, some of you hate Sangare. I mean, do you? I don't really care. But I don't understand why there has to be a one or the other with them. I don't even think they're both players from the same position. I think Sangare is a 6 and I think Yates is more an 8. So I don't know why people are comparing them. But what I will say is they're all crap. That whole midfield, apart from Anderson, is crap. And anyone who thinks otherwise, convince me. Convince me. That's all I'm asking you to do. Tell me where you see these qualities in our 6s or 8s outside of Anderson that should give me any inclination that this midfield is good enough to sit third in the Premier League. And don't tell me, well, they are third in the Premier League. That's from our defence and that's from Chris Wood. That's why we are where we are. So don't tell me it's the midfield. But tell me why I should believe that any of these midfielders are good enough. They can't pass the ball. They can't control a game. And between them, they've got about 3 goals this season in the Premier League. I think Anderson's got 1. Yates has got 1. Sangare hasn't got any. Dominguez maybe has 1. And Danilo hasn't got any. So that's our midfield. And that's why I say they're crap. They're just not creating enough. They're not creating enough. There's a reason we bypass them with goal kicks. So my point here is, this doesn't need to be a Sangare versus Yates thing. They're not even in the same position. This needs to be a neither of them are good enough, nor's Dominguez, and nor's Danilo, if I'm being honest with you. And we need a whole revamp on this midfield. And if we get Champions League football, they damn well better be revamped this summer. And then people tell me, oh, Yates had a cracking game yesterday. Yes, he did. But it was against Ipswich. An Ipswich team that had 8 changes. 8 changes. And took the lead against us. So let's not overhype stuff that doesn't need to be overhyped. Let's call out a good performance, which it was from him. But let's not make him suddenly a Barella or something like that, because he ain't. But anyway, those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know what you think. Do you disagree with everything? Probably you do. Or do you agree with some of the stuff I said? Or have you got different thoughts yourself? All I'm saying is I have concerns. And usually I'm not wrong. Oh, and by the way, does this mean I'm Nuna out? No. There's an idiot who put that in the comments yesterday that's coming. Just because you critique a player or a manager or a tactic doesn't mean you're not happy with what you're seeing overall. You're just looking to improve stuff and looking to point the good, the bad, and the ugly out. So, it is what it is. Anyway, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. We'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.